Opening savings and the best warranty around. 10 years, 200,000 miles.
Cover me!
Select models, approved credit, plus tax tag title license, 249 dealer doc, 36 months RAV4 model 4432, 39 months Corolla model 1852, 2999 due, 0 security, 10,000 annual miles, 15 cents per mile thereafter, expires 11/30.
You've worked hard to save for retirement. Is your financial advisor working just as hard? Find out with Greg Ayler, Sunday mornings at 7 on WIBC.
No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. Learn more at helpnokidhungry.org.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is the Second Amendment, and this is the Gun Guy.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, bang, bang.
With Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And good evening and welcome to the Gun Guy Show here on 93 WIBC. We're thrilled you're with us. Hope you had an absolutely fantastic Thanksgiving weekend so far. And, hey, listen, what was yesterday? I guess Black Friday, quote unquote, where a lot of deals are out there, whether in retail stores or on the internet. You know, I guess we have Cyber Monday. It's hard for me to keep up with these things, but apparently Cyber Monday is when also there are a lot of deals for online shopping. I don't know. Shopping's pretty much moved online to a dramatic degree for a lot of us. Certainly it has for me and my family. Did you make any gun-related, any 2A-related purchases yesterday on a big shopping day? Man, my email was completely inundated with quote-unquote deals. Some certainly looked better than others. But I did a little shopping. You know, nothing too crazy. I got a couple of muzzle brakes that are compatible with some suppressors that I have on a couple of rifles. I can make it a little easier. These are QD muzzle brakes that allow a suppressor to go on real quickly and come off real quickly. And it's kind of nice, and it's all nice to be able to move different suppressors around to different rifles, assuming the calibers are all compatible, et cetera, et cetera. But that's about all I did in terms of Black Friday shopping. But if you did you got any cool purchases, went out and got a cool gun, suppressor, accessory, whatever it might be, give us a call, brag a little bit. Hey, it's one thing to buy something cool and fun that you're going to use. Can very likely make your family safer, also provide a lot of enjoyment for you. It's one thing to own it, to buy it. It's another thing to brag about it and to get appreciated. So give us a call and share those stories. But around the holidays, when we're talking about shopping, we're talking about making firearms-related purchases, there are a number of questions always come up, as do questions relating to your ability to travel with firearms. And about this time every year, we're past the 10-year anniversary now of the Gun Guy Show. And so for a good 10 years, about this time of year, I like talking about those issues because a lot of people haven't thought about these things, maybe ever, certainly not in a while. A lot of people are confused about the legalities involved. If people are inclined to buy a gun for a loved one, a friend, family member, a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of misunderstandings about whether that's legal, whether you can do that, whether you could be in trouble for how you fill out the form in the gun store that you're required to fill out. It's called ATF Form 4473. And people want to be honest. People want to comply with the law. And can you do that and still buy a gun for someone else? We want to get into that and any other related questions you might have. Give us a call, 317-239-9393. I'd love to hear from you, the listening audience. But first of all, can you legally buy a gun as a gift for someone else? There are a lot of people out there that will say, oh, absolutely not. That's a straw purchase, quote unquote. You'll go to jail for 10 years and everybody's going to prison. And that's not something you can legally do. And that's actually not the case. And by the way, if you have questions about that form, the form that you fill out, which is incredibly important, and listen, a little bit of paranoia, a little bit of concern a little hyper-vigilance, maybe we'll call it, about filling out that form is absolutely warranted, because you can go to jail for filling out that form incorrectly. I mean, Hunter Biden, before Daddy pardoned him, was looking at a substantial period of time in jail because of how he filled out the 4473 when he went in to buy a gun at a time when he has since publicly admitted he was addicted to cocaine. And one of the questions you answer on that form is, are you a user of or addicted to any illegal drugs? Well, Hunter clearly was. He clearly lied. He got convicted. And, of course, Papa let him off. But that's an example of how filling out that form incorrectly or allegedly lying on that form can land you in a lot of trouble. So I don't denigrate anyone, never criticize anyone for being very, very concerned and careful about how they fill out that form. But one thing you should know, and if you're getting ready to go in and buy a gun, go shopping for guns or whatever, pull up the full 4473 form on the internet. You can get the whole thing. I mean, a lot of us just focus on about the first page and a quarter or so, which is what you fill out in the gun store. Of course, now a lot of the gun stores appropriately and conveniently have moved to a digital form of the 4473. But what makes a lot of sense is download that form and read the actual instructions. There are several pages of instructions of the 4473 that actually match right up with the sections of the form that you fill out. And the question is, and it used to always be the first question, and they've modified the form a little bit year to year. But one of the very early questions, if not the very first one you fill out, is, are you the actual purchaser of the firearm? And this relates to a so-called straw purchase. What's a straw purchase? A straw purchase is where someone is typically not legally able to purchase a firearm for themselves. So they have someone else purchase that gun for them. And the classic example is, two guys go into a gun store and they've already made an arrangement that one who can pass a background check and who can legally buy a gun is going to buy the gun. But he's only going to buy the gun with the money of the other person. That may have already changed hands. It may change hands afterward, depending on the price of the gun. But and gun stores are getting very, very good at spotting this. But two guys come in together, and one of them looking over the case and asking questions like, "Oh man, the Glock 19. Oh yeah, that's got an accessory rail. Is that optic ready? Does that come with extra magazines?" And then he whispers to the other guy, and they all nod, and all of a sudden the other guy goes, "Yeah, I'm going to take this Glock 19 right over here." I mean, that's a little bit of a silly example to show how blatant it can potentially be, but that's the classic example. So, if I decide that I want to buy a gun for my wife this Christmas, which I have done in Christmases past, and I am a very, very lucky man in the sense, in a variety of ways when it comes to being married to Mrs. Relford. But one of the ways I am very, very lucky to be married to Mrs. Relford is that she actually thought it was romantic when I bought her a gun for Christmas a few years ago. As if I ever had any doubt, that sealed it right there. That she was the right one for me. But if I said, I'm going to buy a Ruger LC9S, the striker-fired version of the Ruger LC9 9mm carry pistol, solid little gun, a decent trigger on it, striker-fired, which improves that gun dramatically over previous versions of the LC9. I decide I'm going to buy that gun for my wife, and I go into the gun store. And I say, I want that LC9S right there. And the guy behind the counter says, you got it. And he steers me over to the computer terminal that's got the 4473 form on it. And the very first question says, are you the actual purchaser? And I say yes, fully intending to give that gun to my wife for Christmas. did I just commit a federal felony that can land me in jail for 10 years? Because, in fact, I'm going to buy that gun, and I'm going to transfer it to my wife as a gift for Christmas. The answer to that question is no, because I'm using my own money. I haven't accepted anything of value from another party. They haven't handed me cash to go buy them. My wife can legally buy her own gun. She's not a prohibited possessor. I'm using my own money, and arguably, as the law works among married couples, my money's her money anyway. But I haven't accepted money from someone else to buy a gun on their behalf. I'm using my own funds. I'm buying the gun with the intent to transfer that to my wife for Christmas. Is that legal? Yes, that's legal. Now, what if my wife is a prohibited possessor? She, hypothetically, which of course is not true as to Mrs. Relford, but let's say she had a felony conviction. So she cannot legally buy her own gun. I buy a gun and transfer it to her. I've now committed a crime. But if she's legal to purchase a firearm, she's legally capable of buying her own firearm, yes, I can buy a gun as a gift. And it says it right in the instructions. And when you go to that the instructions for that question, that's what's beautiful about the 4473. I mean, it's hard for me to use the word beautiful in the same sentence talking about a government form, particularly when we're talking about ATF. But what is at least convenient about the 4473 instructions is, again, the instructions are by paragraph that line right up to the questions on the form. And if you read the instructions for the question that asks you, or are you the actual purchaser of the firearm, it lays out exactly what I just said. And that's an important point. And so you can't. Now, what if I have a son? I have two sons, and they're much older than this. But let's say I have a son, hypothetically, who just turned 18. And I just said earlier that my wife's capable of buying her own gun in a gun store. I just choose to buy one for her as a gift. That's legal. What about my son who just turned 18, hypothetically speaking, and I want to buy him his first handgun? Well, he cannot legally buy a handgun in a gun store because federal law says you have to be 21 to buy a gun in a gun store. So can I buy my 18-year-old son a handgun for Christmas, taking advantage of some really cool Black Friday deal here over the weekend? Or am I committing a crime because he's not capable of buying his own gun from a gun store because he's not 21? I'll go into that and start taking your calls and questions when we come back. Give us a call, 317-239-9393, 317-239-9393. Give us a call. I want to hear about your Black Friday deals and any cool sales that you participated in and other gear that you acquired. Or if you got questions or comments about the show content here tonight, give us a call. Again, 317-239-9393. This is Guy Relford on the Gun Guy Show.
The news doesn't wait, and you've got things to do.
It's unclear where exactly the company will place their headquarters, but it's expected to bring 5,000 new jobs to Indiana.
Everything is stopped going into Indiana's second busiest interchange at northbound 65. Stop.
My morning routine is pretty simple. Coffee, keys, WIBC.
Let's get cooking, boo-boo.
Tony Katz in the Morning News. Morning 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC.
Guy Relford for the law offices of Guy Relford. You know, one of the things we really enjoy doing at the law firm is to restore people's rights after they may have had something on their record that prohibits them from owning or purchasing a firearm. For a lot of convictions, certainly not all, but for a lot, we're able to restore your gun rights. There are a lot of ifs and whens and conditions on that the law imposes. But if it's been 8 years, for instance, since a felony conviction, then for a lot of convictions, again, not all, you can have your rights restored. And we'd like to talk to you about that. If you're interested, you or a family member, let us know. You can contact us through the website. Just go to relfordlaw.com. That's relfordlaw.com.
Comcast Business is celebrating the holidays by giving your business the $1,000 holiday bonus when you switch to a gig speed internet package. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 12, the new laptop for the office holiday hero. Or possibility number 108, smart speakers to deck those hallways. Or possibility number 192, new equipment for the new year. Or possibility number 555, Bluetooth holiday lights for office decor. Switch to Comcast Business, designed for 100% reliability with business internet and wireless connect, plus advanced cybersecurity, and now get the $1,000 holiday bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 12/14/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Requires qualifying gig package. Other restrictions apply.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, is it true?
What's that?
Tire Discounters is offering up to $200 off sets of Goodyear tires?
Absolutely.
Plus free alignment and a full synthetic oil change?
You got it.
I'm not one to exaggerate, but that may be the best deal in the history of the world.
But free would be better.
Mike, don't toy with me.
Through the holidays, every day we're open, someone will get their money back on 4 tires.
But I...
Just breathe, Phantom. Breathe.
No purchase necessary. Ends 12/31/25. Visit website for details.
This holiday season, make your home magical with Sundown Gardens and Miss M's Home and Garden. From sparkling Christmas trees to glowing holiday decorations and show-stopping fresh greenery and trees for inside and out, Sundown and Miss M's has everything you need to turn your home into a winter wonderland. Visit them for wonderful Christmas gifts, delectable chocolates, live trees, wreaths, and more. Come in, get inspired, and let the holiday spirit ring. Sundown Gardens, 186th and Spring Mill in Westfield. Miss M's on 135 in Bargersville.
Strike gold with the best ticket deals of the season. Get Pacers tickets starting at $5.
Jackson attacking in on the left side with a left-hand scoop, and he's on the line with a chance for a three-point play.
Gold Friday presented by KeyBank is your chance to get tickets to some of the biggest Pacer games starting at just $5.
Neesmith buries a three right in front of the Milwaukee bench.
These deals won't last long. Head to Pacers.com/Gold Friday. That's Pacers.com/Gold Friday to get yours.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Guys, don't propose with a ring that she didn't pick out. Trust us, she already has a ring in mind. So engage with Gage Diamonds, in person or online, where Gage's skilled ring designers will work with her to create the perfect setting, matched with the perfect stone. Gage specializes in exquisite lab-grown diamonds. Financing available. GageDiamonds.com. We're engagement's middle name.
See the diamonds at Pierce Jewelers. Diamond earrings, diamond pendants, diamond rings, and diamond bracelets. They shop the world to bring you the best. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
This hour powered by Pierce Jewelers, designers of fine jewelry.
The Indianapolis Public Library. More than just books. Visit your local branch today.
Second to none on the Second Amendment. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back. I'm Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. By the way, thanks to producer Gavin, who's here running the show tonight. Gavin's going to be our producer here for the immediate foreseeable future, as long as he'll have us. So thanks so much to Gavin for sitting in and helping us out, running the board that actually keeps us on the air. But question I posed, hypothetically, before the break was, what if I want to buy a handgun for my 18-year-old son? Because he cannot legally buy his own handgun from a gun store, because you have to be 21 to buy a handgun from a gun store under federal law. Well, there is no prohibition under state or federal law from me transferring a gun to an 18-year-old, as long as he's not otherwise a prohibited possessor. In other words, no felony convictions, not under domestic violence order of protection. There's a long list that I've talked about here on the Gun Guy show before. But if he's not prohibited and he's 18, then I can buy a gun for him as a gift. But what about transferring a gun under, let's say, Indiana law? Isn't that also important? Well, of course, we have to comply with both state and federal law. And state law in Indiana says that it's illegal to transfer a handgun to a person who is not eligible to buy their own handgun from a licensed dealer. So right then, you ought to be saying, okay, hold on. 18-year-old can't buy a gun from a licensed dealer. But then the Indiana statute goes on, doesn't end there. There's no period after cannot purchase a firearm themselves from a licensed dealer. It then says, for reasons other than age. So if a person's not eligible to buy a handgun from a licensed dealer for reasons other than age, then you cannot transfer a gun to them. But if the only issue is that they're 18 rather than 21, you fall outside that prohibition under Indiana law. There's no federal law against transferring a gun to an 18-year-old, and there's no federal law against buying a gun with your own funds, with your own resources, intending to transfer that gun as a gift. So, yes. I mean, an 18-year-old, we'll broaden it out from handguns. An 18-year-old receiving a shotgun suitable for sporting clays or trap or skeet, whatever sporting shooting they might be possibly interested in. I mean, that's an awesome gift. That's a fabulous gift. Now, would I also want to put right in the case, right in the package with that, a gift certificate for some training or an offer to personally train someone? And listen, you get to decide, your family, how people get trained. But training and firearms obviously go hand in hand, and I think if you're going to be a responsible gun owner, by definition, you have to have been trained from some source. Doesn't mean your dad, your uncle, your older brother or sister, whoever it might be, who's adequately trained themselves to teach someone firearm safety and marksmanship, so be it. Training needs to come right along with it. So, and I haven't done this myself in a while for my businesses, but when I was teaching a lot more of the hands-on shooting courses, I always, around the holidays, would advertise that I was giving offering gift certificates for training. And, hey, buy a gun and put a gift certificate right in the same package with the gun of 2, 4, 6, 10, whatever number of hours you want, the money you want to spend, and get somebody training right along with the gun. Was that a fabulous gift? That's an awesome gift. And it's responsible as well. That's why I will never advocate for or accept a proposal for imposing a training requirement as a condition of owning a gun. Why? Because it's a constitutional right. And it ought to be a matter of personal preference and personal accountability. But I still say, while it should be a personal choice and a matter of personal accountability, you cannot responsibly own a gun without training. So a gift of training. What about a gift of training before the gift of the gun? That's pretty damn smart. I've had a lot of people come to me want to take training before they ever bought a gun, and they say, wow, I don't own a gun yet. Can I come take training? 100%, absolutely. In fact, I applaud you for wanting to have the training first. And in a lot of training courses, I always covered this in my introductory courses, I would talk about how to select the best gun for you, because a lot of people make a really bad decision. And in fact, we're closing in here on the bottom of the hour. Let me talk to you about how to avoid making some really bad decisions in the process. Let's say you want to buy your wife, your husband, your 18, 19, 20-year-old son or daughter. You want to buy them a gun. How can you avoid some really bad decisions when you decide to buy someone else a gun as a holiday gift or birthday gift or just a gift for whatever purpose? Because believe me, in teaching a lot of introductory courses over the years, I don't teach these anymore. My training is pretty much all individual, personalized training with one or maybe two people in a course. I don't teach the group classes anymore, like NRA basic pistol, that kind of thing. But when people came to those introductory courses, a lot of people would bring a gun that was completely the wrong gun for them. Absolutely, 100%, for a variety of different reasons. The wrong gun for them. Doesn't mean it was a bad gun. It just means it was a bad gun for them. Well, what can we do, especially if we're gift giving, to avoid making a bad decision like that, which I've seen thousands of times over the years? We'll get into that when we come back. And listen, we've got some people on hold as well, so we will absolutely go to the phone lines here after this break at the bottom of the hour. We're taking a break. This is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Kendall and Casey.
Trying to get out of the grocery store to purchase anything that resembles a week's worth of food. Between the Walmart and Costco trip, it was like almost $280. How is this sustainable for most normal people?
Well, you're going to have to start taking a 50-year loan for groceries. And, of course, we've all got those utility bills.
Are they high? Is there something going on with utilities?
Kendall and Casey. Weekdays 9 till noon on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Black Friday deals are happening all month long at Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield. You can lease a new Ford Escape or a Bronco Sport for just $339 a month. Plus, you could save over $13,000 on a new Ford F-150. You always get more with Andy Moore's Get More Guarantee. More savings, more selection, and more for your trade. Buy your vehicle 100% online. It is so easy to do at AndyMooreFord.com, and Andy Moore will deliver it right to your door. Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield is the place for your car, truck, and SUV. And if you've got a business, Andy Moore Ford is the place for your commercial vehicle. Not only to get your new medium to heavy-duty F-Series trucks, but their service bays can handle vehicles up to 35,000 pounds. Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield for all the Black Friday deals. Check them out, 2713 East Main Street in Plainfield, or online at Andy Moore Ford. That's Andy Moore, M-O-H-R. I love Andy. AndyMooreFord.com.
It's not too late to score on Pacers Gold Friday deals. More games, more deals. Get your tickets before they're gone.
Siakam versus Sims. He'll challenge Sims, and he'll shoot from the foul line and score.
Pacers Gold Friday, presented by KeyBank, continues through Monday night. Tickets starting at just $5. Tickets are limited, so get your tickets at Pacers.com/Gold Friday.
Here comes Indiana again, and Siakam throws it down.
That's Pacers.com/Gold Friday.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Jane Fergus. Tennessee holding a special election Tuesday that could flip a Republican congressional seat to the Democrats. Republican Tennessee congressional candidate Matt Van Epps joined Saturday in America.
We will win decisively on December 2nd when everybody puts their jersey on and gets on the field and stands behind us.
Democratic opponent Afton Bain is pushing to help Tennessee families who are struggling financially. A Black Friday shooting at a shopping mall in Santa Clara, California, left 3 people with gunshot wounds. This man was eating at a restaurant in the mall.
And all of a sudden, stampede of people come running our way. I did hear a couple shots there at the end, and we just followed them, ran quick, and we ended up hiding in somebody's backyard with a group of like 10 or 15 of us.
The mall was evacuated, and police say it was an isolated incident. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Andy, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As a product development manager, I make sure every piece of fine jewelry at Shane Company is meticulously designed for quality. From 14-karat gold chains, pearl necklaces, diamond studs, and of course, dream engagement rings. We know you can get your holiday gifts anywhere these days, but knowing your loved one's gift was crafted by master jewelers? It's a difference everyone can see and feel, no matter the price. All of our fine jewelry begins with a vision by our in-house designers. Then, we ensure each piece meets our high-quality standards every step of the way, including the smallest details. It's why our jewelry comes with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty that covers everything and doesn't cost a dime. At Shane Company, there's no shortcuts, just craftsmanship. Because a friend wants your fine jewelry to be nothing short of perfect. Come see for yourself. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
We know that around the holidays, things don't always go as planned. That's why Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. So make memories this season in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Over 2,000 to choose from. And buy with zero down. Yes, zero down delivers. Every Hubler Q certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. It includes a 128-point vehicle inspection, plus a free Carfax history report. Plus, we'll pay top dollar for your trade. Bring Hubler your old car for an immediate appraisal. No matter where your plans take you, spread cheer all season long, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. Happy holidays, Indiana. Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 13 convenient locations. Select models, approved credit, warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
The show about gun rights, gun safety, and responsible gun ownership. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back. I'm Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. And I'll tell you what, we've had a couple folks on hold for a while. Let's go to the phone lines. We've got Larry. Larry, thanks for calling The Gun Guy Show.
Yes, sir, Guy. We're going to be going to Florida in a couple of weeks for my grandson's wedding, and I am not familiar. I'm ignorant of the laws between here and there to be able to carry my firearm. What do I need to do or know?
Well, I'll tell you what. I will answer your question, Larry, specific to your trip, but I'm going to talk more later in the show. So after we get through with your call, and thanks so much for calling, by the way. And it's a wise question to be asking, but pay attention to the rest of the show. But I'm going to answer your question specifically. Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, and Florida all recognize the Indiana license to carry. In fact, I don't know that I can speak definitively off the top of my head about Georgia. I might want to spend 10 seconds on the computer to confirm this. I think all those states may now have adopted constitutional carry, meaning that you can possess a handgun without a license, including for non-residents. And but at a minimum, if you have your license to carry handgun, Larry, which I assume you do, then you are lawful to have your handgun. Now, what I'm going to talk about later in the show around the, it's holidays, let's talk about holiday-related firearms issues, and travel being a big one of those, is that there are a lot of things you got to know about each one of those states you're going to travel through in terms of what their laws are that may very likely be different from the laws of Indiana. For instance, is there a duty to notify a police officer that there's a gun in the store gun in the car during a traffic stop? Can you carry a gun into a place that serves alcohol? Can you both open and concealed carry? For instance, Florida, until just recently, it was absolutely a crime to open carry, even with a Florida concealed carry license. If you open carried in Florida, if you were there under reciprocity with an Indiana license, for example, and the wind blew your shirt back or your jacket up or whatever it might be, and your firearm was then visible as a result, that was a crime. And that was challenged in the courts. And the last thing I read on that is, although this is something else I would be wanting to check if I were going to Florida anytime soon myself, is I'd want to make sure that I knew the status of that. In other words, do I absolutely have to conceal? Again, that was found to be unconstitutional in Florida, and I believe that's been set aside. But it bears research. But that's just another example of knowing all the little idiosyncratic laws about each state that you're going to travel through. Because it's not just as easy as knowing where your license is recognized your Indiana license to carry is recognized, or which states have constitutional carry for non-residents. Because at least 29 states do. I think we may be up to 30 now. And that includes for non-residents where you don't even need a license to travel there. But that's the tip of the iceberg. The whole rest of the equation is, what about all the other little laws that can get me in trouble? I could be traveling through a state that has a duty to inform and be totally legal to have my handgun in my car or in a holster on my hip traveling through that state, but I get pulled over on the interstate and I don't disclose there's a gun in the car, and suddenly I committed a crime and I'm going to jail, assuming that all is discovered by the police officer. And so, again, places that serve alcohol, sports stadiums, the prohibited locations you need to know. And now that sounds a little intimidating, and until you realize there are a lot of really great resources out there. And listen, I have no financial connection to these people whatsoever, but one thing I talk about often is I have an app on my phone. It's just called CCW. And you look this up, and I'm sure there are comparable services from other providers. I don't know. I haven't done a deep drill on that. But what I have on my phone that I've had for years and I've used with great success for years, it's just called CCW. And it's got the outline of it's got kind of a picture of a gun, an illustration of a gun, and it's laid over a multicolored map of the United States. And it's an app you can download onto your phone. And again, hey, no financial connection. These people don't pay me to pitch their app. But you can look up state law summary, state by state by state. And it's got a GPS function where if you allow it to identify your location, it'll tell you the laws where you are. It'll tell you which states grant reciprocity to your license, wherever you have your license from. And you can set up your profile with your name and where you have a license. I put in there, I've got Indiana. Yes, I've got a Utah non-resident license from many years ago. And I put that in there, and then boom, it'll tell me what I need to know. But it also gives me those state law summaries, and it answers those critical questions like duty to disclose during a traffic stop. So, Larry, that's a much longer answer than you were probably anticipating. But I'm going to talk more about traveling with a firearm later in the show. But that's one thing I wanted to go into, which is you need to know which states recognize your license for your handgun. And again, no question in my mind, Florida, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida all recognize the Indiana license. So that's not an issue. But again, that's the tip of the iceberg. And you need to make sure all those other boxes are checked in terms of you understanding the law that can still get you in trouble, even though your license is recognized in a particular state. Let's go back to the phone lines, and Kirsten has called in. Kirsten, welcome to the Gun Guy Show. Thanks for calling.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. So my question is that, people are getting arrested over in Europe for, things like praying and Facebook posts and stuff like that. Well, I have a little bit of a loud mouth on social media, and what do I do when they come to my door? Because I'm not going to go quietly. If my any of my constitutional rights are being violated, I'm not going to go quietly.
Well, and Kirsten, I understand the sentiment that you're expressing. Let me tell you, there are some battles that you win in the courtroom later on that you're not going to win on your doorstep or on the side of the road or that type thing. If authorities come to my door, and it's just this is a situation where someone's got a warrant, police officers, they show me a warrant where a judge has signed off requiring me to allow those officers to search my home or seize property. In that moment, without knowing more, I certainly know enough to look over a warrant and decide whether it's a lawful warrant or not. I'm not going to physically resist, and certainly not resist with deadly force, the officer serving that warrant. Again, these are officers doing their job. at the same time, I always want to talk about, the real meaning and history of the Second Amendment, which is to give the private citizens the ability to avoid tyranny, to resist tyranny, to stand up to a tyrannical government. But it's a pretty good leap between a couple of local police officers showing up on my doorstep with a warrant to a time where I think the Constitution is being ignored on a wholesale basis, that we have, in fact, a tyrannical government trying to impose its will on the private citizenry, and it's time for the private citizenry to stand up and resist in a violent way. I hope and pray and believe that the latter, that is, standing up to a tyrannical government with force, and including deadly force, I absolutely believe and hope and pray that will never occur in my lifetime. That's partly because I'm getting pretty damn old. And that's a huge leap. That's a huge transition from just an officer or two, or half a dozen, who knows, showing up with a warrant saying, well, we've received a report that indicates to us you're, for instance, a dangerous person under the red flag law. And so we're coming in to search for firearms. Am I going to resist that with violence? No, of course not. Especially if it's a valid warrant. Now, this is where it gets really ticklish, and it gets really scary in my perspective, because knowing how a lot of us approach law enforcement, and a lot of us have a lot of respect for law enforcement, although, of course, there are certainly examples of bad eggs out there among our folks in blue or brown or at the federal level. A lot of examples. But for the most part, I absolutely respect, and the last thing I want to do is hurt members of our law enforcement community. So if somebody got a bad report on me, I mean, malicious, well, hell, I've had bomb threats phoned into my office before, 2 of them in the last 3 years. And I had Carmel PD show up at my door of my office. Now, they were absolute 100% professionals. Even after a call went in, apparently, to a 911 operator that said, I'm in Guy Relford's office, sitting in Guy Relford's desk, and I'm going to blow this building up. And apparently, they were hoping that law enforcement would show up, see me sitting at my desk, think I was a bad guy, and then bad things would happen. But between me knowing a lot of the Carmel PD officers and them being consummate professionals, nothing like that even came close to happening. They came in and said, hey, Guy, what's going on? But it was my first thought, well, man, I got 4 officers walking up to the door of my office. Is it time for me to start resisting tyranny? No, of course not. Exactly the opposite. I said, hey, guys, and I welcomed them into my office. So listen, it's a difficult question to answer, Kirsten, and I fully recognize the historical motivation of our founders for writing the Second Amendment the way they did, including the absolute essential result and goal, the intent of the Second Amendment, which is the ability to stand up to a tyrannical government. No, I'm certainly not going to resist an officer who shows up to my doorstep with a lawful warrant. I'm not going to do that for a variety of reasons, some of which I've touched on. I'll tell you what, we've blown past the 3/4 hour. Let's take a break, come back, wrap up the first hour here of the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Radiothon.
And I'm here at the phone bank for the Salvation Army.
The 31st annual WIBC Radiothon for the Salvation Army, presented by Financial Center.
It has been such a great ride. I would do anything for the Salvation Army.
Since 1994, your generosity has helped raise millions of dollars that stay here in Central Indiana. Join us December 12th and 13th, doing the most good. The Salvation Army of Central Indiana, Financial Center at 93 WIBC.
You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-705-9484. 800-705-9484. 800-705-9484.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
It's the season of giving, so why not give yourself something that lasts? Now through December 15th, Financial Center is offering mortgage and refinance rates as low as 5.50% or 5.9% APR, helping you save more for years to come. Financial Center makes things easy with local experts and options for every homeowner. Start now at fcfcu.com/mortgage. That's fcfcu.com/mortgage. Subject to underwriting guidelines. Not all will qualify. Equal opportunity lender. See website for terms and conditions and MLS number 509724.
Strike gold with the best ticket deals of the season. Get Pacers tickets starting at $5.
Jackson attacking in on the left side with a left-hand scoop, and he's on the line with a chance for a three-point play.
Gold Friday presented by KeyBank is your chance to get tickets to some of the biggest Pacer games starting at just $5.
Neesmith buries a three right in front of the Milwaukee bench.
These deals won't last long. Head to Pacers.com/Gold Friday. That's Pacers.com/Gold Friday to get yours.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Head online to the contest page at WIBC.com and enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra Thursday, December 4th at Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
Your rights, your responsibilities, your guns. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back. Got a little bit of a short segment here, but we'll start into something I wanted to address, which is, okay, you've made the decision. You knew already, or perhaps you heard here on the Gun Guy Show, that you can legally buy a gun as a gift for someone else. Again, using your own resources. The person is not a prohibited possessor. And you can legally buy a gift for them, a gift in the form of a firearm. And by the way, let's back up a little bit. It's never a bad idea to give someone a gift card. And listen, most of the gun stores I know, my friends at Indy Arms, my friends at Pinnacle Firearms, any number of folks where I shop and where I do business, where I train, offer gift cards. Never a bad idea. You know, buy them a gift card, let the person go in and select their own gun. And this is where people make just some really horrific mistakes. And a lot of times, as a trainer, I've had to share the consequences for those mistakes because somebody shows up to my class with absolutely the wrong gun, which makes it very, very difficult to try to get that person comfortable with their gun and proficient with their gun, and sometimes even safe with their gun. What am I talking about? Please, point number one, for the love of God, can we please kill the myth that if you're buying a gun for a lady, for a female, that she needs to have a short-barreled revolver because that's what women need to carry. And I hear these ridiculous reasons like, well, they don't have hand strength to manipulate the slide on a semi-automatic. Bull. If they know how to do it. And if it's the right gun for them and someone's taken 5 seconds to show them the proper technique for manipulating the slide on a semi-automatic, of course they can manipulate the slide. They can operate the slide on a semi-automatic. Well, it'll never jam. They don't have to clear a jam. Well, while it's true that there is rarely such a thing as a quote-unquote jam with a revolver, there's no reason a woman can't be just as proficient at clearing a malfunction out of a handgun as any man on the planet. And there seems to be this implication that, and I laugh at this one, I'll hear guys say, well, a revolver, it's simpler to operate. Hold on. And I'm not doing this to suck up for, the ladies in the audience here, but on average, women test out about 8 points higher on IQ tests than men do. If anybody needs a simpler firearm to operate, it's probably us. You can't tell me simpler to operate, so that's more appropriate for a female. Come on. I'm going to talk more about this after the top of the hour, but let's talk about how to select the right gun and avoid some of these silly myths that are so pervasive out there. Right now, we're approaching the top of the hour, so we're taking a break. This is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Scrolling all day, clickbait everywhere. But the facts, they're harder to find.
WIBC didn't just report the story, they really got into why it matters.
CEO of First American Nuclear believes we're heading into America's nuclear renaissance.
In 100 years, all successful nations will be powered by nuclear reactors. For the sake of our children, I'd like the U.S. to be one of them.
Oh, I check the WIBC website before I even open social media.
Online, on social, on air. Stay in the know while you're on the go with 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Comcast Business is celebrating the holidays by giving your business the $1,000 holiday bonus when you switch to a gig speed internet package. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 12, the new laptop for the office holiday hero. Or possibility number 108, smart speakers to deck those hallways. Or possibility number 192, new equipment for the new year. Or possibility number 555, Bluetooth holiday lights for office decor. Switch to Comcast Business, designed for 100% reliability with business internet and wireless connect, plus advanced cybersecurity, and now get the $1,000 holiday bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 12/14/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Requires qualifying gig package. Other restrictions apply.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Just how good is Pure Talk's current deal for unlimited wireless? Well, you might say it's the deal of your lifetime. Because right now, for just $29.95 a month, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for life. Not your phone's life, your life. This is Pure Talk's top-tier plan. It comes with a crazy fast 5G network along with a 30-gig hotspot. And at just $29.95 a month, there has never been a better opportunity to lock in a ridiculously low rate for as long as you live. And save thousands and thousands of dollars along the way. This plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you will save over 50% every single month for the rest of your life. See what I mean? It really is the deal of your lifetime. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. Offer ends 12/7. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
Andrew Wolf remains in critical condition. Fox's Madeline Rivera has more on the suspect, Raman Lockenwall.
Investigators are conducting search warrants and speaking to those who may have known the suspect. The feds want the maximum penalty for him, whom they say ambushed these two guard members. The administration is calling into question the vetting process for migrants. The head of the National Counterterrorism Center, Joe Kent, says the suspect, 29-year-old Ramanullah Lockenwall, was vetted by the intelligence community before he worked with the CIA as part of an Afghan counterterrorism unit. But Kent says Lockenwall was only vetted to fight against U.S. enemy forces in Afghanistan and not for his suitability to come to America.
And Lockenwall has been charged with first-degree murder in Backstrom's death. Tennessee is now counting down the final days before a special election that Republicans fear could flip a congressional seat to the Democrats. Republican Tennessee congressional candidate Matt Van Epps joined Saturday in America, saying that he is confident in winning this election.
We will win decisively on December 2nd. When everybody puts their jersey on and gets on the field and stands behind us.
Van Epps' Democratic opponent, Afton Bain, has faced criticism for expressing negative feelings towards Nashville, a major city in the district she aims to win over. And the Palestinian death toll has passed 70,000 since the Israeli-Hamas war began. That's according to Gaza's health ministry. And a hospital is claiming that Israel fired and killed 2 Palestinian children in the territory's south. America's listening to Fox News.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
That heat's going to be out there for one more day.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
Convicted killer Brian Kohberger was recently accused of throwing a tantrum over the fruit selection at a maximum security Idaho prison where he is serving multiple life sentences.
Kohberger's incarcerated at the Idaho Maximum Security Institution. He abruptly pleaded guilty to the murders of
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A notable snowfall. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending this hour. The snow is here, and forecasters say it could make travel tricky for several days in parts of the state. Ryan Hedrick reports.
From shoveling driveways to navigating icy roads, forecasters say preparation will be the key as conditions will shift quickly.
Pre-dawn Sunday. Sunday is going to be, temperatures will be falling through the 20s. It'll be blustery, breezy, low wind chills, and anything that doesn't get shoveled or treated is going to freeze solid Sunday.
Alex McGinnis at the National Weather Service Indianapolis says Hamilton County could pick up nearly 6 inches and Johnson County may only get an inch. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Indiana Republican Senator Michael Bohachik announcing on Friday that he would vote against the GOP's redistricting plan due to derogatory language used by President Trump towards Democratic Minnesota Governor Tim Walz in a social media post made on Thanksgiving. Bohachik, who has a daughter with Down syndrome, cited the consequences of Trump's words in his decision. The Circle of Lights crowd on Monument Circle in downtown Indianapolis hearing Richard Goodall, winner of Season 19 of America's Got Talent, sing a heartfelt duet of Jingle Bell Rock with the late Bobby Helms Friday night.
I was a little surprised because I hadn't heard that many songs with Richard not singing the Journey song, which is a pretty high-level song to do, and Richard does a great job.
That's Helms' former manager, John Kleiman. He said the performance blended Goodall's new vocals with a rare early 1990s recording of Helms' voice that he found on an old VHS tape. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Now the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Winter weather advisories to the south. A sharp cutoff in snowfall totals is expected south of I-70. We'll have snow filling in through the afternoon, heaviest during the late afternoon and evening hours before flipping over to rain. On Wish TV, Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
We know that around the holidays, things don't always go as planned. That's why Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. So make memories this season in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Over 2,000 to choose from. And buy with zero down. Yes, zero down delivers. Every Hubler Q certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. It includes a 128-point vehicle inspection, plus a free Carfax history report. Plus, we'll pay top dollar for your trade. Bring Hubler your old car for an immediate appraisal. No matter where your plans take you, spread cheer all season long, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. Happy holidays, Indiana. Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 13 convenient locations. Select models, approved credit, warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
The Attorney General's office wants to put your money back in your pocket. Visit indianaunclaimed.gov and search for yourself, your loved ones, or your business. It's fast, easy, and free.
Indy Humane. Find your new best friend today. Visit indyhumane.org.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is the Second Amendment. And this is the Gun Guy.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, bang, bang.
With Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back for hour number 2 of the Gun Guy Show here on 93 WIBC. We're thrilled you're with us. And we want to continue to take your calls with questions or comments throughout the second hour of the show. 317-239-9393. That's 317-239-9393. I was talking before the break about some really bad decisions I've seen people make on buying a gun for someone else as a gift. And I talked about the legality of that. Which I won't repeat. But legal is one thing, and just making a really bad choice is a whole separate question. And listen, let's talk about gun selection here, and how anyone ought to go through the process of selecting the right gun for them, or the right gun to buy as a legal gift for someone else. One thing I hear and see all the time is someone who's new to firearms or thinking about getting into firearms, and they'll put out a question. They'll do this on social media, or they'll just do it to a friend or acquaintance, whoever it might be, and they'll say, I'm thinking about buying a gun. What kind of gun should I get? And there are a lot of folks out there, and this is a shame, and I wish it wasn't this way. But a lot of people will immediately start lecturing you, given any opportunity, about what kind of gun you should buy. And invariably, they're telling you that you should buy the kind of gun that they have. Oh, you got to get a Glock because Glock's is this and Glock's that, and oh no, you got to and right off the bat, people will just start lecturing in response to the question, what kind of gun should I buy? And if that happens to you, you ask that question to someone, and the person doesn't first start asking questions, as opposed to lecturing you, then you'll know you asked the wrong person. Because when people ask me that question, I have a whole bunch of questions. First one is, well, what do you want the gun for? What's the purpose? Right? One of the habits of highly effective people, right? Begin with the end in mind. What's the objective here? What do you want the gun for? I'm not going to start lecturing them when I don't know anything about what motivated them to ask me the question to begin with. Well, I want it for self-defense. Okay, self-defense. Do you mean at home? Yes. Are you going to carry it? Probably not. I haven't had the training yet. Not comfortable carrying a gun outside the home. Of course, immediately I'd say, well, awesome. Let me give you some recommendations on where you can get the training to be comfortable carrying the gun outside the home. But okay, your decision. You want a gun for home defense. Yeah. And you have a preference, rifle, handgun, shotgun. Well, gee, I don't know. I don't know much about, and so immediately you start asking these questions and start getting more information about this person's background, what their needs and objectives are, what the purpose of the gun is. So they do want to carry the gun. Okay, have you thought about what kind of carry method? What do you mean carry method? Were you going to carry it in a holster? Carry it off body, which has huge disadvantages, but still I'd rather be carrying a gun off body than not have a gun at all in a crisis situation. So you start gathering information from the person about, again, what their objectives are. And then suddenly, based on what they want the gun for, I mean, what if someone says, I'm thinking about buying a gun, what kind of gun should I buy? And you start immediately lecturing them on how they need to buy a Glock 19 because it's the world's greatest handgun. I'm not picking on people who carry Glock 19. It's a great gun. I've owned a Glock 19 for a lot of years. Probably one of the most commonly carried guns in the country, including by law enforcement, with its slightly bigger brother, the 17. And it's a great gun. But my point is, if somebody immediately starts telling you about the self-defense compact handgun you really ought to be carrying, and when in fact the only reason they ask you about buying a gun to begin with is because they want to get into sporting clays. Well, getting into sporting clays, you probably don't want to take your Glock 19 handgun out there. And that's just an extreme example of what I'm talking about. You need to ask questions. And listen, guns, there's a great analogy between guns and cars, guns and motor vehicles, in the sense that when you're trying to decide which one is right for you, every gun, just like every motor vehicle, is a whole series of priorities and compromises in terms of what that offers for you and what's important to you and what makes that the right gun or the right motor vehicle for you. For instance, would I love to own a Lamborghini? Oh yeah, hell yeah. Hell, the new Corvette, the C8 Corvette. I've never been a Corvette guy. Of course, now that I'm middle-aged and beyond, I can't drive a Corvette because that's too much of a cliche. The old bald guy in the Corvette. I don't want to be that guy. But it's a beautiful car. And were I considering that car, well, all the great things about that car, fast as hell, and great style, great looks, great handling, and I think GM knocked it out of the park with the new Corvette. And now you can get it in the ultra high performance pack. Hell, there's 1,000 horsepower C8s out there being offered right now. Incredible. Is that all awesome? Yes, of course, it's awesome. Can you haul mulch in your C8 Corvette? Well, no. How's it going to be when it snows outside? Not great. Even for hauling the kids to soccer practice, not going to work real well. How about for even bringing groceries home? Well, depending on how many people you're buying groceries for and for how long, that could be a hassle. So it's an awesome car in a variety of ways, but it's got its drawbacks depending on what you want a vehicle for. A gun is exactly the same way. Even a carry gun. Let's say I want to buy a gun and I want to carry it. Great. Every gun, just like every vehicle, is a series of in terms of determining the right one for you, it's a series of compromises and priorities. And there's a huge component of personal preference in terms of what feels best in your hand, what trigger feels right to you, how visible are the sights to you. Does it take aftermarket modifications like a red dot sight? Do you want or need a red dot sight? What about a flashlight? A weapon-mounted light? Is that something that you want or feel the need for? And what criteria, what decision-making factors entered that equation? And there's so many, and so to start asking questions of someone, Yes, I want a gun I could use both for home defense and to carry it. Great. If you're going to carry it, now suddenly barrel length, grip length, weight, and thickness or girth, suddenly those issues start factoring in. Why? Because if you're going to carry it, you're going to carry it concealed. You're going to carry it on body. A big, heavy, long-barreled, long-gripped gun is harder to conceal, and it's less comfortable to carry around all day, depending on your carry system. So when we start talking about concealing a handgun and wearing it on body, now you start talking about a compact type gun. But now you have to balance compact, size, weight with other factors like magazine capacity. And listen, people will say, oh, well, if you need more than 2 or 3 shots to resolve a self-defense situation, you need to take more training. Well, I'm sorry. There are a lot of examples of people out there who were incredibly proficient in a self-defense scenario who still required multiple shots to end the threat. The leading example in my mind is my friend Eli Dickin down the Greenwood Park Mall. Eli had an 80% hit rate starting from 43 yards away. How many people could do that? And it still took him eight hits out of 10 shots to end the threat. Handguns are notoriously bad fight stoppers. People watch too many movies where they think you get hit once with a 9mm and you fall down and die. And listen, can that happen? Of course. That depends on where a person is hit. Was a major organ or the central nervous system impacted? If not, people can get shot a lot of times and continue to be bad guys. So capacity is, in fact, important to several of us who make this decision to carry a gun. What if you encounter more than one bad guy? Does that happen? Of course it does. So capacity, concealability, comfort, weight, all those things start factoring in. How easily can you modify it? How modular is it? Does it accept aftermarket sights? And everyone gets to have their own personal preferences and their own priorities when it comes to all those questions. So starting with what the objective of the gun is, then working through the different factors that make one gun better than another. Given the scenario, given the use pattern the person intends for it, then the answer of what can be the right gun or the wrong gun for an individual person could be dramatically different. Person to person to person. Dramatically different, but all still right. Or all still equally wrong when people screw it up. And listen, before we take a break, we're a little past the quarter hour, but I want to go ahead and deal with this directly. This idea that women need a revolver is the silliest, goofiest, most misguided, pervasive myth that exists out there. It's wrong. It's always been wrong. It'll never be right. And listen, is there anything wrong with revolvers? No. Are they great self-defense guns? You bet. Are they ultra-reliable? Yes. All those are the upsides of a revolver that may make it the right choice. But here's some really bad thinking out there. First of all, people misunderstand the effects of weight and barrel length. And when weight, we're talking mass, combined with caliber and grip style. They totally misunderstand the combination of those things when it comes to the shootability. That is, how comfortable it is and how accurate someone can be in shooting a particular gun. And listen, Smith & Wesson and a lot of similar manufacturers have made a ton of money over the years selling .38 special revolvers, little short barrel, 1-inch, maybe 2-inch barrel, ultra light. They make them featherweight, ultra light. The Lady Smith, you can find them, they're titanium or all aluminum. They're incredibly light, short barrel, small. They make them with pink grips on them. Aha, it's got to be the right gun for a lady. It's got pink grips. As ridiculous as that thinking is. But you know what happens when you take a big, healthy caliber like .38 Special and put it in a really, really light gun with a really short barrel, with a really long, heavy trigger pull, which most of these revolvers have. you have a gun that is absolutely, incredibly uncomfortable for anyone to shoot, particularly someone who's a new shooter, and particularly someone with smaller hands. Because people confuse small and light in a handgun with how comfortable it's going to be to shoot. And let me just tell you, the bigger and heavier with a longer barrel a particular gun is, compared to another gun of the same caliber, the bigger, heavier, longer-barreled gun's always going to be more comfortable to shoot than the smaller, lighter, shorter-barreled gun is going to be. And when you put a 38 Special, which is I'm pointing that out because it's so common, and an incredibly light gun made of aluminum or titanium or some combination thereof with a little 1-inch barrel, all that energy is being released in very close proximity to that person's hands. That makes the gun very snappy. What's snappy? The barrel comes up. It's called muzzle rise. You get a lot of felt recoil directly back into the shooter. Combine that with a really long, heavy trigger pull, that's hard for a lot of people to stay on target throughout a long 8 to 10 pound trigger pull, which is very common for these handguns, but especially the double action only. You can't even cock the hammer to shoot single action. That's not an enjoyable shooting experience. How easy is it to learn how to shoot with one of those guns? It's hard. I'm a big guy who shot a lot, millions of rounds in my lifetime. I don't like shooting the little suckers. Little short-barreled ultralight revolver with minimal sights, so a lot of times no rear sight, just a groove into the frame of the gun. That's a wrong gun for somebody trying to learn how to shoot. I'm not dogging Smith & Wesson. I'm not dogging 38 Special. And listen, as a backup gun for an experienced shooter, awesome. But anybody who thinks that's the right gun to buy for someone just because they're a female, because this ridiculous myth is so pervasive out there, oh, a lady needs a revolver. Wrong, wrong, and wrong. Are there guns that are 1,000% better? Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And any experienced instructor who's gone through what I have for 40 years, which is people bringing the wrong gun to a class, can give you chapter and verse on exactly why that is. Right now, I've blown past the quarter hour. It's time to take a break. We come back. I've got a bunch of people on hold again, so we'll go to the phone lines when we come back. This is Guy Relford on the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Santa's checking his list, and the Hoosiers keep landing on the nice and nasty list. Nice hustle, nasty from downtown.
And three-pointer on the way. Yes!
Coach Darren DeVries has a workshop full of sharpshooters and high flyers, stacking up wins like gifts under the tree. Grab the cocoa and enjoy some holiday hoops. IU versus Minnesota, Wednesday at 7 on your home for Hoosiers basketball. 93 WIBC.
Guy Relford for the law offices of Guy Relford. If you're interested in an expungement or a restoration of rights, those are things we do often for our clients at Relford Law. You can contact us during the week. Be back in the office starting on Monday. You can contact us about potentially restoring your gun rights for a lot of folks. That's available now under laws that have changed dramatically here in the last decade or so in Indiana. We'd love to talk to you about that. If you're interested, you can contact us through the website at relfordlaw.com.
Black Friday deals are happening all month long at Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield. You can lease a new Ford Escape or a Bronco Sport for just $339 a month. Plus, you could save over $13,000 on a new Ford F-150. You always get more with Andy Moore's Get More Guarantee. More savings, more selection, and more for your trade. Buy your vehicle 100% online. It is so easy to do at AndyMooreFord.com, and Andy Moore will deliver it right to your door. Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield is the place for your car, truck, and SUV. And if you've got a business, Andy Moore Ford is the place for your commercial vehicle. Not only to get your new medium to heavy-duty F-Series trucks, but their service bays can handle vehicles up to 35,000 pounds. Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield for all the Black Friday deals. Check them out, 2713 East Main Street in Plainfield, or online at Andy Moore Ford. That's Andy Moore, M-O-H-R. I love Andy. AndyMooreFord.com.
Just how good is Pure Talk's current deal for unlimited wireless? Well, you might say it's the deal of your lifetime. Because right now, for just $29.95 a month, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for life. Not your phone's life, your life. This is Pure Talk's top-tier plan. It comes with a crazy fast 5G network along with a 30-gig hotspot. And at just $29.95 a month, there has never been a better opportunity to lock in a ridiculously low rate for as long as you live. And save thousands and thousands of dollars along the way. This plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you will save over 50% every single month for the rest of your life. See what I mean? It really is the deal of your lifetime. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. Offer ends 12/7. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
Hi, this is Chris Cox, owner of Chimney Solutions, Indiana. We're celebrating our 10th year in business. Call this month to take advantage of 10% off all chimney sweeps and inspections. We're also celebrating the opening of our new fireplace showroom on 86th Street and Lafayette Road. Come and experience our exclusive lines of wood-burning and gas fireplaces.
Call 317-557-6979 or chimneyindy.com.
Christmas is almost here, and if you're shopping on a budget, you shop at PA Jewelers at the Farmhouse in Brownsburg. Truly unique pieces you won't find anywhere else. And sale prices every single day. At PA Jewelers at the Farmhouse, you'll find gold, diamonds, gemstones, exquisite, one-of-a-kind pieces, and incredible local artist designs all within your budget. Your perfect place to shop for the holidays. PA Jewelers at the Farmhouse, 3750 South Green Street in Brownsburg, or online at pajewelers.jewelry. That's pajewelers.jewelry.
It's an I-65 showdown when the Pacers host the Chicago Bulls.
Neesmith's strong drive went right around Risa Shea and dunked.
Continue to celebrate the Thanksgiving holiday when the Pacers feast on the Bulls Saturday at 7:30.
Now Siakam comes up top, takes it, bounces it once, and buries a three over the outstretched arm of Stewart.
The rivalry continues, and you don't want to miss the action. Get your tickets at Pacers.com/tickets. Pacers Bulls, Saturday at 7:30.
Looking for the hottest trends in jewelry this year? Come to Pierce Jewelers and see their Love to Love collection in lab-grown diamond jewelry. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
This hour powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's full-service jewelry store.
Through their service, veterans have our backs. Now we should have theirs. Learn more at GotYour6.org.
Now you've got a gun guy. Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back. I'm Guy Relford on the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. And I'll tell you what, we've had some more callers. Let's go right to the phone lines. And Ian has called in. Ian, welcome to the Gun Guy Show.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm in gun-loving Bloomington.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Monroe County, Bloomington, they just love the 2A down there.
Monroe County's not bad, but Bloomington,
Yeah, I hear you.
Not the purpose of my call. We were talking about travel, interstate travel, and I mentioned a publication to you earlier in the year, and wouldn't expect you to endorse it or anything else, but it's called The Traveler's Guide. It's published once a year, comes out of Somerset, Kentucky, I believe. And it's very current on state laws, duty to inform officers where you can carry, alcohol serving establishments and all that.
All right. Is this a hard copy or is it online?
Well, it's probably online. I'm not. I hate computers. But no, it's like a thick magazine. It's called The Traveler's Guide.
Okay.
As I say, it's published in, I believe, Somerset, Kentucky. I get it I get a handful of them every year. I give them to some buddies of mine. But if you're not familiar with it, it's worth your attention.
Okay.
Let me give you a super quick example. A year or two ago, for instance, in one state, I think Virginia, you can carry in a rest area, but you can't carry it into the buildings.
Yeah, right, because it's a government-owned building. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, but you can carry it in the parking lot, but you can't carry it into the building where you if you ever need one.
Yeah, and you know what, Ian, that is really a good example of what I was mentioning earlier, which is how idiosyncratic and how different the laws can be from state to state. And people a lot of times don't understand that there's so much more to know and so much more to know to be able to stay out of trouble while traveling with your firearm than just whether a particular state recognizes your license to carry that we have here in Indiana, or whether or not a particular state is constitutional carry. That literally is the tip of the iceberg, and the rest stop example that Ian just gave is another great example. Let's go back to the phone lines. We've got Jeff. Oh, hold on. Producer Gavin has put in here, this is Nigel's dad? This is Nigel's dad?
Yep.
Oh, man. Well,
yeah.
You're like a celebrity by proxy being Nigel's dad.
I guess
That's
so.
awesome.
I'm semi-famous.
Yeah, absolutely.
But,
well, man, I've met you before, sir, and I thank you for calling the show.
Yep. I have kind of a boring question for you, but I'm probably not a lot different than some of your listeners in that I have an odd little collection of guns, many of them which I have never shot, and some of them that I may not touch between a few years at a time.
Sure.
I was wanting to get your advice. Do I open those things back up and need to clean and oil them, even if it's in a box and never been fired?
Yeah, it's such a good question, and listen, and thanks so much for calling, Jeff. As I say, I've met you and shook your hand before, and which was an honor, and it's an honor to have you call the Gun Guy Show. So thank you, sir. But yeah, no, this is something that it's such a good question, because guns over time. And depend on finish and whatnot. Guns vary a lot, but guns can certainly corrode over time. Just even in a box, whatnot. There's an issue with guns becoming dry over time, and that means more with some guns than others. But any kind of semi-automatic in particular, but even a revolver, I'd be worried about rust. And I'm worried about lubrication so that gun will function appropriately if and when I take it out of the box or take it out of the safe or wherever it might be. Even guns that are stored in safes. Again, depending on how well you monitor and control the humidity inside your gun safes, it can be an issue with corrosion. And listen, lubrication is the number one cure and number one preventative, I should say, for corrosion of a firearm and functionality. Is so important as well. So yeah, one thing I do, and it's kind of fun actually, and a lot of times I do this over the holidays if I can get a couple days off, is haul guns out of the safes and spread them out and just spend an afternoon or a couple afternoons, depending on the number of guns you're talking about, and just clean and lubricate everything. And if something hasn't been shot, okay, there's nothing wrong still with running a swab down the barrel. A little light coating of oil, run it through the chamber, make sure the mechanisms are properly lubricated, all according to your owner's manual. Guns are so different. Some guns don't like to be wet. Other guns like to be. Some guns function with more lubrication. Some guns function better with less. But a little light coat of lubrication and a proper cleaning and keeping dust out of everything is absolutely essential, not only for the functioning of those firearms, but for making sure that they're being preserved. And listen, I've hauled guns out. I shouldn't even admit this. I had a beautiful little Ruger 22, and I got it wet at the range one day. I was shooting at the outdoor range when we still ran Eagle Creek Pistol Range, and then I put it in a canvas. After I cleared it, obviously, unloaded it, I put it in a kind of a canvas zip-up storage bag, and then put that in my range bag, and then put it in my car. And when I got home, I went in and I took the guns out of my range bag, and I took that little 2245, it's called, the model of it, and I left it in, because I already cleared it. I knew it was safe. I left it in the zip-up bag and put it back in my gun safe. And I left it in there for, 2 or 3 weeks. And it's a gun that I really like to use in classes because it's a beautiful little gun. It's a well-functioning gun. And it's really easy to learn how to shoot with a gun like that. It's really easy to teach someone. And so I went to take it out, and I was getting ready for a class, and I pulled a gun that had gotten wet. This is a guy who wrote Gun Safety and Cleaning for Dummies. I hate to admit, I would still do something this stupid, but exactly what I did. I pulled that gun out of there that had been sitting in a wet bag inside my safe after I'd gotten the gun wet itself, because we were shooting at an outdoor range, and the corrosion, it was all luckily mainly surface oxidation. But the rust on this gun was something that was absolutely heartbreaking for anybody who cares about their firearms. And that's a really extreme example, and it doesn't really match up with Jeff's question. But there's a preservative factor in terms of making sure guns are clean and lubricated, even if you're not shooting them. And there's certainly a functionality issue as well, because guns over time just get dry, and a lot of guns, especially semi-automatics, just don't function real well without the appropriate amount of lubrication. With that, I'll tell you what, I think we'll take a break at the bottom of the hour. We'll come back. We'll go back to the phone lines. We've had other people call in and continue talking about gun-related issues during the holidays, including, if I have time, I want to get into the fact that Moms Demand Action, big gun control group, part of Everytown for Gun Safety, they put out an article hoping to get their members to debate gun control at the holiday dinner table. That's interesting, including a PowerPoint presentation and talking points for you to use right there while you're carving the turkey at Christmas or Thanksgiving. That's what Moms Demand Action wants you to engage in. Interesting enough. We'll get to that if we have time as well. Right now, we're taking a break. This is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Oh, no, he's dead.
93 WIBC.
A man wanted for several violent crimes is shot dead.
What happens next?
Gas prices now at their lowest level going into the holiday since 2020.
Happens here.
Crowds of people protesting a federal raid.
Stay in the know.
Clashed with ICE agents last night. Protesters were sprayed with chemical irritants.
While you're on the go.
Blizzard warning right now for Thanksgiving.
On air, online, and on Alexa.
Comcast Business is celebrating the holidays by giving your business the $1,000 holiday bonus when you switch to a gig speed internet package. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 12, the new laptop for the office holiday hero. Or possibility number 108, smart speakers to deck those hallways. Or possibility number 192, new equipment for the new year. Or possibility number 555, Bluetooth holiday lights for office decor. Switch to Comcast Business, designed for 100% reliability with business internet and wireless connect, plus advanced cybersecurity, and now get the $1,000 holiday bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 12/14/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Requires qualifying gig package. Other restrictions apply.
Just how good is Pure Talk's current deal for unlimited wireless? Well, you might say it's the deal of your lifetime. Because right now, for just $29.95 a month, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for life. Not your phone's life, your life. This is Pure Talk's top-tier plan. It comes with a crazy fast 5G network along with a 30-gig hotspot. And at just $29.95 a month, there has never been a better opportunity to lock in a ridiculously low rate for as long as you live. And save thousands and thousands of dollars along the way. This plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you will save over 50% every single month for the rest of your life. See what I mean? It really is the deal of your lifetime. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. Offer ends 12/7. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
Fox News, I'm Carmen Roberts. A huge snowstorm is causing big Thanksgiving weekend travel headaches, especially in Chicago, where so far today, airlines have canceled more than 1,000 flights in and out of O'Hare Airport.
Plus the delays. They've got a ground delay program through late tonight. Some of those delays could be 3-4+ hours, and they're de-icing. They're snowing right now. Moderately visibility at the field is a half a mile and 27 degrees. So they're going to be catching up tomorrow at O'Hare and Midway.
Fox Weather's Mike Seidel. Deadline reports that Disney's Zootopia 2 is poised to pull in an estimated $525 million plus through tomorrow during its global opening.
This is a make or break assignment.
And the worldwide total through yesterday, $233 million. America's listening to Fox News.
It's not too late to score on Pacers Gold Friday deals. More games, more deals. Get your tickets before they're gone.
Siakam versus Sims. He'll challenge Sims, and he'll shoot from the foul line and score.
Pacers Gold Friday, presented by KeyBank, continues through Monday night. Tickets starting at just $5. Tickets are limited, so get your tickets at Pacers.com/Gold Friday.
Here comes Indiana again, and Siakam throws it down.
That's Pacers.com/Gold Friday.
Listen up, football fans. You won't want to miss this.
Right now, new Bet365 customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. So you could turn that $150 into something bigger when you bet on money line, spread, totals, player props.
$150 in bonus bets when new customers bet $5. I know where I'm going to bet from now on. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Indiana. T&Cs apply. In-app only.
Attention, Indiana homeowners. Are you tired of avoiding your wet basement? Hi, I'm Mike Smith with Swainco Crawl Space and Basement Repair, your real, local, Indiana family-owned experts. Imagine all the possibilities of a guaranteed dry basement, a cozy new family room, a home gym, or even a new office. And with no interest, no payment financing, you don't have to break the bank to do it. Make the most of your basement today. Call Swainco 317-407-1868 or SwaincoLLC.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Now you've got a gun guy. Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back. I'm Guy Relford on the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. And I'll tell you what, Anthony has called in, been on hold for a while. Anthony, welcome to the Gun Guy Show. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
You too, sir.
I've got a little piece of trivia because I've been watching the chat, and then probably a fairly quick question. Bolo is actually a Spanish word for machete, and it dates back to when the Philippines were a U.S. territory.
Oh, we were talking about this on the YouTube chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was a term for failing to qualify with your assigned weapon, and it's the Philippine word for a machete. So if you failed to qualify, you weren't given your rifle, you were given the machete of shame, and you had to carry that around. And it has become the military term for failing to qualify with your weapon ever since then. It's called a bolo.
Oh, that's
anyway,
funny.
The question has to do with the something that I saw online but no details, that the ATF is issuing new rules with regard to transporting NFA items.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So if you could address that.
You bet, Anthony. And listen, thanks so much for your call. It's always a pleasure. Yeah, what Anthony's talking about here is a couple of things. First of all, we're talking about NFA items, automatic firearms or machine guns, short-barreled rifles, short-barreled pistols, suppressors, short-barreled shotguns, if I didn't mention that. There's some restrictions on those. Some of the reasons people don't necessarily want an NFA item, one, they have to be registered with the federal government, but secondly, there are restrictions, including that you cannot take a registered NFA item across state lines without the ATF's permission. And there is what's called a Form 20, and you can download that and fill it out, and you can say, hey, I'm going to go to gun site in Paulden, Arizona. I'm taking a carbine class. I want to take my SBR. I'm going to be there from such and such a date to the later date, and I'm staying, at this hotel, or I'm camping there at the gun site facility, whatever it is, and you send that in, and they approve that form. And you always have to give yourself a huge amount of lead time, because you never quite knew how long ATF was going to take to approve that. And I think the modifications in the system that Anthony's talking about also include the fact that if you have a registered NFA item, let's say I have an SBR that's got a 7-inch barrel on the upper, and it's 5.56, and I've done a bunch of reading, and I figure out that the ballistic performance sucks out of a 7-inch 5.56 barrel, and I decide I want to modify that to a 12.5-inch barrel, which a lot of people consider to be more the minimum barrel length to really get adequate performance out of 5.56. But I've registered the gun at 7 inches, and I have to have on file with the ATF the correct configuration of the gun, or I'm outside the requirements of the NFA. There's been a system where you can essentially send them in writing the notification that the configuration of your registered NFA item is changing, and then they approve that and send that back to you and say, yes, your description of your NFA item is now modified in the NFRTR, which is the registry of NFA items. What Anthony's talking about is that ATF has announced that they're going to a digital process, an online process, to make this much simpler and easier and, most importantly, faster. I don't know. I'd put easy and fast right there as 1 and 1A on my priorities in order to get those kinds of things approved. And I know this is relative to the Form 20 for interstate transfer. And by the way, suppressors, for whatever reason, fall outside the Form 20 requirement, which is to notify ATF and get approval before you can take one across state lines. You want to take your suppressor with your full-length rifle across state lines, go take a class, go hunting, whatever it might be. You can do that without the Form 20. But I understand they're moving to a digital or online through ATF e-forms. And listen, if you're into NFA items, and I have a bunch of stamps, I'm double digits between SBRs, SBSs, and suppressors, which is my new addiction. And I enjoy them, and I'm going to continue owning them, and I'm excited about the fact that $200 tax is going away, although I wish the NFA would go away in its entirety, as there are efforts underway in the courtroom to accomplish. But the wait times on getting a Form 1 to build an NFA item like a SBR, or a Form 4 to transfer an NFA item like a suppressor. I've had suppressor transfers in the last 6 months. I've had them approved in 2.5 days, 3 days. I had an SBR Form 1. I had 2 of them approved less than 3 days, right at or less than 3 days. And that's because ATF's improving their efficiency. And again, I don't want to be caught bragging on ATF, because Lord knows they're guilty of a lot of transgressions on the rights of law-abiding citizens as well. But on the NFA registration and on the manipulation of the electronic process through ATF e-forms, they're getting a hell of a lot better. And the idea to move the Form 20 to be in digital now, to be able to process that and get an approval back in, a day or two, as opposed to weeks when you want to travel with your NFA item, that's a nice benefit. Now, there are probably people out there, they're going to send me an email or they're going to comment on the YouTube chat. Oh, here it is, guy, praising the NFA and praising government control. That's not what I'm talking about. Part of my living is fighting against these things and trying to make them go away altogether and contesting the constitutionality of them. But I'm saying if we're under the current regulatory regime that we are, anything ATF can do to make that more efficient and less time-consuming on me and my fellow gun owners, I'm going to at least give a thumbs up to that, recognizing we have bigger objectives, which is to get out from underneath the thumb of the government altogether. But that is another discussion. Right now, let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll wrap up this edition of the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Same stretch of 465. Same mess.
What a mess! It's messed up, right?
Yeah, if Matt Bear's talking, I'm listening. He's saved me too many times.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Indianapolis traffic is a puzzle. Matt has the map.
I trust Matt Bear more than my traffic app.
Matt's stuck in the booth.
I'm stuck.
So you're not stuck in the car. Mornings
Good morning.
and afternoons. It's lunchtime on 93 WIBC.
Guy Relford for the law offices of Guy Relford. If you're interested in a restoration or an expungement, contact us through the website. Just go to relfordlaw.com. That's relfordlaw.com.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Everybody knows Hubler's got the best warranty around. 10 years, 200,000 miles. But did you know? Now you can get that same limited powertrain warranty on new Toyotas. Introducing the all-new Hubler Toyota. Get grand opening savings all month long. And right now, lease a new 2025 RAV4, just $349 per month. Or a new 2026 Corolla, $219 per month. Plus, choose from Camrys, Corollas, Highlanders, Tundras, and more.
Hubler's got you covered.
At the all-new Hubler Toyota on US 31 South in Indianapolis. Visit HublerToyota.com. Grand opening savings and the best warranty around. 10 years, 200,000 miles.
Cover me!
Select models, approved credit, plus tax tag title license, 249 dealer doc, 36 months RAV4 model 4432, 39 months Corolla model 1852, 2999 due, 0 security, 10,000 annual miles, 15 cents per mile thereafter, expires 11/30.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
800-948-1659. 800-948-1659. 800-948-1659. That's 800-948-1659.
Strike gold with the best ticket deals of the season. Get Pacers tickets starting at $5.
Jackson attacking in on the left side with a left-hand scoop, and he's on the line with a chance for a three-point play.
Gold Friday presented by KeyBank is your chance to get tickets to some of the biggest Pacer games starting at just $5.
Naismith buries a three right in front of the Milwaukee bench.
These deals won't last long. Head to Pacers.com/Gold Friday. That's Pacers.com/Gold Friday to get yours.
Kick off game day at the Ultimate Colts Tailgate. Join us at the Slippery Noodle this Sunday. Doors open at 9:30 a.m. Enjoy great food, good vibes, and pregame fun with fellow fans.
Now you've got a gun guy. Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back for the last segment here of the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. You know, I was mentioning traveling with firearms earlier in the show, and we only have a few minutes left. But let me also address quickly the issue of flying with a firearm. And a lot of people, I'm talking about flying commercially, a lot of people get intimidated out of doing this. And whether you're going on vacation, want to take your personal defense handgun with you, whether you want to go on a hunting trip, and for me, training courses. I want to go to out-of-state training courses often. I try to go a few times a year. And a lot of people get intimidated at the idea of traveling with their firearm, and they don't want to get in trouble. They don't want to break any laws. And so they talk themselves out of doing it altogether. And let me tell you, you're really cheating yourself if you do that, because it's not a particularly complicated or troublesome process. And once you've done it or done it a couple of times, it becomes second nature. But you can travel with your firearm. The key is to know it's got to be unloaded in a secure case. That's a hard-sided locking container that is completely unloaded. Unloaded means there's no ammunition in any magazine, in any chamber of the firearm. And it has to be hard-sided to the extent that you cannot pry it open. You can't, pry it open from either end. It has to be hard-sided and locked. You take it to the airport with you, and you can declare an unloaded firearm there at the baggage counter when you're checking your bag. And you say, I want to declare an unloaded firearm. They have you sign a little placard where you verify the gun's unloaded. It goes back in the locked container, it disappears, and then you have to go through security and you have to identify yourself as someone who's declared an unloaded gun in your checked bag. Then you have to stop at the TSA kiosk on the other side. And they will wait for a while. I think they're x-raying the gun to see if they can determine whether it's unloaded without opening the case. They typically need the key from you to go open the case, verify it's unloaded. They come back, they say you're good to go. You get on your airplane. Now, when it arrives at your location, it does not go on the carousel, thank God. It goes to the baggage office of the airline you're traveling on. You need to go there with ID and claim it. And listen, we don't have time to get into more of the details, and there are more details to go into, but just go to tsa.gov, yes, it's tsa.gov, and then search Traveling with Firearms. Traveling with Firearms. It'll give you all the details, and you can do it. You can go to your hunting trip, you can go on your training course, and all get by just fine. That's it for this week's edition of The Gun Guy Show. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you come back next week. This is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Put on a red tie, take a picture on the red carpet, then settle in for a night where politics actually makes sense. And the punchlines are intentional.
This year wasn't just unpredictable. It needed subtitles.
Be part of an evening with smart conversation, outstanding bourbon, and that signature Tony Katz blend of insight and entertainment. This is a night that will make your friends jealous if they don't join you. Tony Katz presents Trump 1 year later, January 24th. Get your tickets at WIBC.com.
Black Friday deals are happening all month long at Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield. You can lease a new Ford Escape or a Bronco Sport for just $339 a month. Plus, you could save over $13,000 on a new Ford F-150. You always get more with Andy Moore's Get More Guarantee. More savings, more selection, and more for your trade. Buy your vehicle 100% online. It is so easy to do at AndyMooreFord.com, and Andy Moore will deliver it right to your door. Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield is the place for your car, truck, and SUV. And if you've got a business, Andy Moore Ford is the place for your commercial vehicle. Not only to get your new medium to heavy-duty F-Series trucks, but their service bays can handle vehicles up to 35,000 pounds. Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield for all the Black Friday deals. Check them out, 2713 East Main Street in Plainfield, or online at Andy Moore Ford. That's Andy Moore, M-O-H-R. I love Andy. AndyMooreFord.com.
Hammer and Nigel here. I've had previous experience with weight loss injections, and they worked, but the provider was very impersonal. With Premier Weight Loss, it's a totally different experience, Hammer. Their offices are professional and relaxing and impressive. It's not a compound product. It's true medical guidance, not just a telehealth chat request. And by the way, Hammer, the price of this most popular option is $350 per month.
Everybody's journey is different. I lost 50 pounds on my own, but then I hit a plateau and I couldn't lose anymore. And that's when I reached out for help. And Premier Weight Loss, they customized the plan specifically for me. And they got two different locations. There's one at 96th and Meridian. There's one off 106th and 69. Please stop by pwlnd.com. pwlnd.com. And I'm telling you, you're going to feel so much better. Make sure you tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
We know that around the holidays,